Okay, so I did my presentation on legalized curfew. So legalized curfew is basically any youth 18 or younger, they're not allowed to be out in public at night between the midnight hours. So I think here it's 1 and 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., something like that. So you just can't be out in public unless you're supervised by an adult, obviously. So positives of curfews. So I'm going to talk a little bit about sleep. So sleep, I don't know about you guys, but when I get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, like it says over here, more than 7 hours of sleep. So when I get more than 7 hours of sleep, I do way better on tests, and I have American Problems first period, and it's awful if I get less than hours, 7 hours of sleep, because half of it just yaps a lot. So it's I'm just it's tough for me in the mornings. But then if I get more sleep, it's easier and it makes the class more fun. So as you can see here, if you get more sleep, then you have way less chances of getting any of these diseases. And then a huge one is depression. So mental health is a huge thing when it comes to sleep. And if we follow the curfew hours, then we basically have a higher chance of getting our sleep schedule to be better and our mental health to be better in the day. Okay, so a big thing with youth nowadays is underage drinking. And so one thing my parents sometimes say is nothing good ever happens at night. And so basically no one's supervising your kids during the night. And during the night, if you're drinking, you have a more likely chance to get behind the wheel. And so a curfew basically it makes less chances for you to be behind the wheel and have DUIs or any underage drinking like that. Okay, so in Cincinnati, there was a report done by this police department, and basically these two 14-year-old kids were out at night during the late nights when curfew was supposed to be imposed, and they were shot 2 weeks apart from each other. And so with big cities like this and cities who have higher crime rates, curfews will prevent this, and if there was a curfew, they wouldn't have even been out at late at night like that, and they wouldn't have gotten shot and died. So the negatives of curfews. So right here, like I said about DUIs, some things are more common during the night, like that. But for most other crimes, it's pretty even throughout the night. Honestly, for the most part, crimes occur more during the day than the night. So only with specific crimes, curfews would help, but for the most part, most crimes would be the same. So right here, it says, this is the midnight hours, so when curfews are imposed, and crime is way lower, and victims of violent crimes are way lower during these hours. But during the main hours of the day, this is when more crime happens, and so curfews honestly would not help that too much. So another big part is minorities are targeted during these curfews, and so what tends to happen is the relationship between police department and community just becomes sour. It just sucks. So if we want the relationship between them to be better, sometimes curfews are not the best option. So what I think we should do is specialize curfews per cities, because in Cottonwood Heights, there's really not that much crime compared to big cities which have lots of crime. And so I think each city should take a look at their crime rates and specifically decide if they need a curfew, how to enforce it, and specific ways they should enforce it. Because we obviously don't want minorities being targeted, so we need to specialize the curfews that we decide. So if you see here, this is literally the crime rate in residents of Cottonwood Heights, and it's so low. I don't know, literally. Okay, so I have this example. Me and my friends were outside riding these scooters, and it was in the midnight hours. So we're riding these scooters, and we get stopped by a cop, and I'm why are we, I didn't even know there was a curfew in Utah, and so, or in Cottonwood Heights, because nothing ever happens here. And so we're literally riding these scooters at night, and I'm why am I getting stopped right now riding these things? And so we are and he's yeah, you guys, you can't be outside at this time, you're not supposed to be doing this. And I'm that's crazy. We can get ticketed for that, so I just think that's crazy. So I think specifically in Cottonwood Heights, we shouldn't have curfews like this. They should not be implemented when and I don't know, when crime is so low. But for bigger cities, they should definitely have curfews and, yeah.